Gautier High School's 13th annual Veterans Breakfast was held on Monday, November 5th, 2012. The breakfast consisted of veterans and students alike in honor of those who so bravely served our country. This breakfast allows veterans from all branches to reconnect with one another.
Now we would like to recognize all veterans by the earliest decade in which they were members of the armed forces.
Sydney Gibson reporting for Good Morning Gautier High School.
I was in the Mississippi National Guard, and we was activated under John F. Kennedy during the Cuban crisis. We went to Fort Rucker, Alabama, and packed to go overseas every weekend. It was great.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And what is one thing that you enjoy about the Veterans Breakfast?
Just seeing all the old people. I'm getting to the point I don't remember everybody's name, but I know I've seen them before. And it takes a little while. I have to ask them to tell me what their last name is. But when you get old, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Thank you for serving our country.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. MOS?
I was a senior chief petty officer in the United States Navy.
That's right.
About a year and a half in Vietnam, and then most of my rest of my time was aboard ship and in training at various locations throughout the country.
Yes, sir.
I am Glenn Remington.
What was your MOS?
I was a 14-something. I was a forward air controller in Nam. I was also a model pilot once upon a time, also instructor pilot for many years.
What's one thing that you enjoy about the Veterans Breakfast?
Veterans program, it's just wonderful to meet all the guys that you haven't seen in a while.
Yes, sir.
And share stories with a bunch of them.
In the Navy. I was an electronics tech and an operations specialist. I served during Bosnia-Herzegovina. I served during Desert Storm. I served during the Haitian evacuation, and I also served during the Noriega, Panama incident. During Desert Storm, I was on an auxiliary vessel, 1,500 people. Majority of the crew was female, so that gave us kind of a few different difficulties being in a Muslim country with females in charge. We didn't like it too much. It was a good time. I miss it.
You miss it. All right. What is one thing that you enjoy about the Veterans Breakfast?
Camaraderie. It harkens back to the days when we all served together.
U.S. Navy. During the Korean War, we were in several short battles over there. We had an explosion on our ship. 4 were injured, but we came through with flying colors. We went back over there. We stayed 9 months in Korea, between Korea and Japan. I was in a helicopter unit during the Nam War. In the 504th Air Cap. I enjoyed all our services. I did not retire from service because I had a family and I needed to come home with them.
I was a quartermaster in the submarine force.
Yes, sir. All right. Were there any interesting stories, war stories that you would like to share with us?
I'll tell you, but I'd have to give you this. Spent 3 months off of the Kamchatka Peninsula.
Yes, sir. Thank you. What is one thing that you enjoy about the Veterans Breakfast?
Just the respect and honor that's shown by the school for the veterans. It's just a good thing. I've made every one of them my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I just want to say thank you for serving our country and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
recognizing some old friends as well as meeting new ones, and just being part of what we went through with to bring us to where we are today, because we came a long ways, and during our early years times was rough in military, bad rough. But we survived and doing medium good, and we're thankful for everything that we did then to survive to bring us to where we are today. So I try to live my life to the full extent each day as if it may be my last day. And I do enjoy bumping shoulders with old military friends.
What we like about today, I like about all you young folks, how great y'all are and how y'all treat us when we get here. And the great food that you have to serve to us every year. That's what I like about it.
This means everything, I tell you. It's really, really, really important that the young people of today recognize the veterans that have been to war in this country to make it a peaceful country, and we appreciate it more than you could ever realize.
Yes, you can't go into the service. It's a world experience. Okay.
Recognize that. I think the program is really more beneficial for the students than for us. Recognize the importance of this, and I think Gautier High School certainly does because of this beautiful event. And we appreciate it.
He's a lot better speaker than me.
It's a great symbolic, patriotic endeavor, and the Gautier School is to be commended for hosting it. We see each other every year at this breakfast, and that is really nice. My granddaughter, Alexis Barnes, I'd like to say hello to her.
Okay.
And thank all the students for their help and for waiting on me, getting me a cup of orange juice. It was really nice.
Thank you.
It began back in 2000. At that time, I was a classroom teacher here at Gautier. I was a U.S. history teacher, and I wanted my students to have the opportunity to talk with and meet the veterans that made our history. Since as a U.S. history teacher, we teach all the wars and conflicts that we've been involved in, and I'm not able to recreate the history like these veterans can. So I know over the years we've had survivors of the Bataan Death March, and the students have had the opportunity to go and sit with these men and talk to them and find out what it was like. Obviously, they could do a much better job teaching about the Bataan Death March than I ever could. And so that's where it started. That's why it started, is so the students could be able to interact personally with these veterans and learn history firsthand. I think originally when we started it 13 years ago, I did not. We started out in the library, and we probably had seating for about 40 veterans. We stayed in the library for probably 2 or 3 years, and after that we realized we had to move to the cafeteria, and had no idea that we would, really be struggling to find seating for 400 people. So I think this year they made some changes, and I think we're able to seat almost 460 people. So we're constantly trying to find ways to improve, to be able to seat more people, make things more, expedite the whole process. But then also every year we try to make it better, and so that's a challenge to try to improve upon the year before. But I have to say, this year I have not planned and organized the breakfast as I have in the past. This year, really, Sidney Carol Murphy and Margaret Moran have done everything, and they have, of course, always have many, many people to help. Kathy Smith, Mike Smith, Diana Krebs. I shouldn't even start to list because I'm going to forget people, but there are so many people. I know the art teacher that helps, librarians, yes. So, and that's become a challenge for me because it's been so long since I've worked here. It's gotten hard for me to help do a lot. So that's why, Sidney Carroll and Margaret, though, they've done an excellent job.
This is very humbling. It's called pride, and the love that all you young gentlemen and ladies are showing us to put on this breakfast. Every year you guys do this, and then my son is in ROTC, so it means a whole lot to me for both of us, myself along with my son, to be in uniform.
All right, I'm Bill Whiteley, and I'm the first Vice Commander of American Legion Post 1992. And we enjoy these breakfasts. It means a lot to all those veterans. And today we've come here not only to have breakfast with you, we've also brought you an award to the high school for all the services you do to the veterans, and that's why we're here.
Gautier High School, NJROTC Flag Detail presented each branch flag in their song to the veterans. Each veteran stood up and cheered to their own branch case song. After each branch flag was posted, everyone had a moment of silence for the prisoner of war flag as it was being presented. The students and the Gautier High School faculty stood and gave their praise and thanks to the veterans as they thanked them in return with their own praise. This is Alicia Carr reporting from Good Morning Gautier High School.
At this year's Veterans Celebration, Gautier High School's theater department performed a scene from the play A Piece of My Heart, which tells the story of 6 women who served during the Vietnam War.
I was an Army brat, Martha O'Neill. Dad a career man, Mom a Navy nurse, World War II. I remember one day in junior high, a girlfriend came in crying. Her dad was going to Vietnam. She was crying and crying, and they had to send her home. It must have been around, I don't know, 1961.
Here are the speakers from the veteran ceremony.
Really delighted to be here. Before I begin my remarks, I think it's important that we recognize the hard work that's going into this. It just wasn't thrown together from the breakfast to signs to flags as you drive in. And Sydney Carroll Murphy, Margaret Moran, and a host of other Gautier High School folks, district folks. Please stand and let us recognize them and thank you.